In 1943, in a peaceful park in Harlem, a 12-year-old girl with braided pigtails innocently approached a woman sitting alone on a bench. The girl asked for her name. As soon as the identity was confirmed, the innocent facade vanished. The girl drew a gun, looked her target straight in the eye, and pulled the trigger. Afterward, she quietly got on her bicycle and rode away. That girl was actually 16 years old, and her name was Freddie Oversteegen. The woman she executed was a collaborator who held a list of addresses of hundreds of Jewish families to be handed over to Nazi Germany. Freddie's shot was not just an assassination, it was the salvation of hundreds of innocent lives. Born in 1925, Freddie grew up on a houseboat in poverty but surrounded by strong ideals. Her mother, a staunch communist, taught her children, "When you see injustice, you must not look away, you must act." Despite a life so meager they slept on straw mattresses, the Oversteegen family always opened their doors to Jewish refugees and political escapees. From a young age, Freddie and her older sister Truus understood that the safety of others was more important than their own personal comfort. When Nazi Germany occupied the Netherlands in 1940, the Oversteegen sisters did not choose silence. Initially, they participated in small-scale activities like pasting anti-Nazi posters and distributing underground newspapers. Recognizing the courage of the two girls, the commander of the Harlem resistance sought to recruit them. After a grueling psychological test, a simulation of being tortured by the Gestapo without confessing, Freddie and Truus officially joined the organization. They were taken to a secret underground potato cellar to learn how to use weapons and sabotage techniques. The sisters' greatest advantage was their youthful and harmless appearance. They often used their charm and grace to approach and flirt with German officers, luring them deep into the woods to carry out their executions. Freddie once shared that the first human instinct after shooting someone is the urge to help them up, but she had to overcome that fear to fight monsters. Nevertheless, the girls maintained strict moral boundaries: never kill children, even if they were the children of the enemy. By the end of the war, Freddie and her sister had carried out dozens of assassinations of German soldiers and collaborators. When asked about the specific number of victims, Freddie always refused to answer with a steadfast principle: one should not ask a soldier about such things. Guided by their mother's advice, always maintain your humanity, the Oversteegen sisters navigated the most brutal war in history with extraordinary courage, using the innocence of youth as a weapon to protect justice. Freddie and Truus constantly refined their skills over time. They did not only act alone but also coordinated seamlessly with clever tactics. The Forest Trap: one of the sisters would play the role of a flirtatious young girl at taverns to approach German officers. Using smiles and intimate gestures, they would lure the target deep into the woods for a rendezvous. At a prearranged spot, the other sister would be waiting in ambush to finish the enemy with a shot to the head. Assassination by bicycle: speed was their ultimate weapon. Truus would pedal while Freddie sat on the back with a pistol ready. They would cycle close to a target walking on the street, fire a quick shot, and vanish into the alleyways before anyone could react. Death knocks at the door, they would go directly to the target's home. Facing a seemingly harmless teenage girl at the door, Nazi officers would often drop their guard, until the black barrel of a gun appeared. In 1943, the group recruited Hannie Schaft, a law student who abandoned her education after refusing to sign a declaration of loyalty to the Nazis. Unlike the Oversteegen sisters, Hannie had a very striking appearance with fiery red hair and green eyes, features that would later make her the most hunted target. After passing Commander van der Wiel's test of courage, Hannie became part of the lethal trio. Hannie, the brain behind meticulous planning. Truus, the decisive leader in desperate situations. Freddie, the brilliant scout, familiar with every escape route. Besides eliminating traitors, whom Truus called social tumors, that had to be cut out, the trio performed many other humanitarian missions, stealing ID papers, forging documents, and escorting Jewish children across the border. Notably, they maintained an ironclad moral principle: never kill children. They flatly refused an order to kidnap and threatened to kill the children of Reich Commissioner Arthur Seisencourt in exchange for prisoners. For them, that was the final line between righteous resistance and descending into evil. Once, witnessing a Dutch SS soldier brutally murder an infant right on the street, Truus did not wait for orders. She drew her pistol and took him down instantly. To her, there were crimes that required no trial or command to act upon. By 1944, the manhunt for the girl with the red hair spread across the Netherlands. Despite dyeing her hair black and wearing glasses as a disguise, Hanny never stopped fighting. During a mission to assassinate the traitor Willem Raggett, her comrade Jan Boomkamp was seriously wounded and captured. In his delirium at the hospital, Jan was tricked by a Nazi officer posing as a resistance member into giving up Hanny's address. Immediately, German forces raided her parents' home, beginning a tragic yet heroic conclusion. After her parents were taken hostage, Hanny had to go into hiding to protect the resistance network. However, her courage would not allow her to stay out of the fight. On March 21, 1945, only weeks before liberation, she was arrested at a checkpoint while transporting illegal newspapers and a weapon. In the dungeons of Amsterdam, despite being brutally tortured, she maintained absolute silence. The Nazis only identified her when they noticed red roots growing out beneath her black hair dye. Although she admitted to the assassinations, Hanny steadfastly refused to betray the Oversteegen sisters or any of her comrades. On April 17, 1945, defying an agreement to halt executions, a Nazi officer ordered 2 traitors to take Hanny to the sand dunes of Overveen for execution. When the executioner's first bullet only grazed her head, she calmly challenged them, "I'm a better shot than you are." Those were the final words of the 24-year-old woman before she fell under a burst of submachine gun fire. When the war ended, Hanny Schaft was honored as a national icon with a state funeral. Conversely, Freddy and Truus faced coldness from the Dutch government for decades. This was due to their family's communist political views, a taboo subject in the context of the Cold War. The women who had risked their lives to save their country were now marginalized, living in suspicion and silence. Truus Oversteegen turned to sculpture to release the pain of war and wrote memoirs to preserve the truth. Freddy Oversteegen chose a quiet life with her husband and children, but the past never let her go. Nightmares and the haunting memories of the assassinations returned every year on Remembrance Day. It took nearly 70 years for their contributions to be properly recognized. In 2014, in the twilight of their lives, Freddy, 89, and Truus, 91, were awarded the Mobilization War Cross by the Dutch Prime Minister. It was the most meaningful moment of their lives, when their country finally said, "Thank you." Truus passed away in 2016, and Freddy followed in 2018. Throughout her life, Freddy maintained the habit of visiting Hanny Schaft's grave with red roses, a symbol of their friendship and shared ideals. The trio, Freddy, Truus, and Hanny, is believed to have eliminated dozens, perhaps even more than 100 enemies. However, the exact number will forever remain a mystery according to the principle, one should never ask a soldier about that. The difference between them and the Nazi monsters lay in 2 words: humanity. They killed out of duty, but they felt pain and cried after every time they pulled the trigger, and they absolutely never harmed children. They are proof that even in the darkest periods of history, humans can still choose to act for justice without losing their souls. The story of Freddy, Truus, And Hani is more than just a historical account of bravery, it is a testament to the power of conviction over adversity. Their legacy lies not in the number of enemies eliminated, but in the hundreds of lives saved and the unyielding moral boundary they maintained, to fight without ever losing one's humanity. They teach us that even in the deepest darkness of war, the choices of an individual, no matter how small, can turn the tide of justice. These heroes were forgotten for nearly 70 years, let us not allow their story to fade into silence again. If you were moved by their courage, please like and share this video to spread the inspiration further. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you never miss these extraordinary stories of history's unsung heroes. Leave a comment below to share your thoughts. What impressed you most about this heroic trio? Thank you for watching and for joining us in honoring these profound human values.